Dow Jones dropped 1,000 points today. Nasdaq fell 6%.
Yep.
Global market rout. Okay, so what factors have contributed to this drastic decline? It started last week and continued this week, and then we'll see how far it goes. But Taiwan, I see they had like their worst day in like 50-something years. So
until China invades.
Chill. We're not putting that energy out there, bro.
what's the catalyst for this?
There are a couple of things. So number one, there's no more free money in Japan. So when the loans were negative, same as we had zero interest rate policies here, they knocked it up 1/4 basis point. So now the Japanese free yen trade is going away. So write this in chat. There's always a catalyst for why the market goes down. Japanese yen adjusting as a result, and then the banks went down. Number two, there's no more asymmetrical reward to the upside, meaning we're at the top of everything: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple. So you have to wait for the market to pull back down. And then there's a lot of fear about all of a sudden, shout to your mom, Queen Kamala runs, and maybe they don't want her in. So maybe the recession indicators that didn't matter 2 years ago matter now. I don't think it's suspicious that all of a sudden a black woman, whether Trump wants to say the blacks are right, but all of a sudden every recession indicator that did not matter 2 years ago automatically now qualifies as a positive indication of a global recession. What are the odds?
Very interesting.
Those are the three big factors for why we're falling. Everyone's asking how long. We'll get to the VIX later, but we should slide for maybe another 5 or 6 trading days. By the 16th of August will be good. After InvestFest, we should be in the clear, but we are going to have some trouble for the next 5 or 6 days.
These are why your advisors forewarned you. This is something we're talking about. We said July, August. In fact, shout out to my brother Tweet out in Toronto. We saw him in May, and he was like, "Yo, when would be a good time for me to enter the market? I'm pretty new at this. I don't know what I'm doing." I said, "It's September," and he was like, "What?"
August, September.
I'm like, "Well, what are the companies you looking for?" And he was like, "Tech." I'm like, "September." And
big facts.
When we kind of told him the reason, and it was because of these things, right? You gave 3 great ones. I think one that was missing was the jobs report.
Yep.
And that's important, right? So when people saw the jobs report come back, it was, I mean, they anticipated 85,000 new jobs. I think the number came in way below. It was like 114. So that didn't help. And then we talked about the importance last week of those tech companies reporting their earnings, right? And so we saw Microsoft, we saw Meta, we saw Apple, not Microsoft, we saw Amazon. And Amazon, it didn't hit, right? The biggest thing that people were talking about were the capital expenditures. Well, if you're trying to innovate and you're trying to keep up in a race, and we'll talk about that race a little bit later in the AI space, you're going to have to spend. And so part of the spending is going to be on the bottom line. Apple did a pretty nice job when it came down to their earnings report, but it didn't meet what people were thinking that would be the catalyst. We started to see a pullback over the last 2 weeks, and it was like, all right, well, will these companies show that growth, right? That CapEx growth, that this is now beneficial. We're spending it, but here's the profit that we're making. We're not there yet. And most companies aren't there yet. And so that hurt. And then, like I said, when you look at all the indicators, it's crazy that the recession word came back up. It is now increased. It was at 15%. The likelihood is now at 25%. Now definitions have changed, so I'm not sure. I saw you post that. I'm not sure what a recession is, but are we on the cusp of one? I don't think so. I think this is a correction. Even if we look at it, right? The Dow was down 1,000 points. When I woke up this morning, it was like 6 a.m. Yeah, I've never seen this. I saw the Nasdaq down over 1,000 points. I was like, oh.
Shout out to everybody in Stock Club. 523 points should be your exit. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. Can we all say this? We have made y'all money if y'all listen. Rashad told you a whole blueprint on how to meet 50 Cent and Steve Harvey and Hove and they had 14 dinners with Nas. how do I network if I want to meet somebody? Like
who's counting?
Tune in to the show. I'm finna talk like El Mayo before he got locked up.
Here's perspective and here's context, right? So the Dow was down 1,000 points, right? For the month, it's down 1%. 1%. Even with all that, it's down 1% this month. It's up 2.5%, 2.5% year to date.
Yeah.
S&P is down 7% this month, the last month. It's still up 4.5% for the year. The Nasdaq is down, so they have hit correction, right? Tech companies have been hit hard. They've gone under 10% from the 52-week highs, which is now correction territory, anywhere between 10 to 30%. It's at 12 for the month. It's still up 9% for the year. We talked about
what scared me though.
Go ahead. I'm gonna give you another stat. Go ahead.
For real. No, get a stat. I'm gonna cut you off.
No, when we talked about the first half of the year, when we saw the amount of growth that were in those three indexes, we always said, like, hey, there's still going to be growth, right? Out of, I think it was over the past 30 years, right? When all three indexes have had positive growth, there's only been 4 occasions when the second half of the year it didn't. But 17% in the first half and having 9%, that's still growth. But we have to be very aware of it means 9% by the time we get to December.
How many times were there a black candidate running for office when that happened? We're about to be 2 for 2. But what scared me about recession?
This is a new anomaly.
That's a new thing they got to put in the stock market almanac. Because if you got a black president, they're gonna make some tizzy slide right real quick.
Yeah.
When I saw Intel go down 26%, normally I'll come in and be like, "I told y'all," and shout to the dude on YouTube and said I was wrong. But for it to be, let's say, the 7th best chip company in America, when you're looking for a recession, you never look at the top players. You're looking at the middle of the pack and how far things are falling. And then they announced they're going to lay off 15% of the workforce. I immediately got scared. The Nikkei fell 5%. For those you don't know, the Nikkei usually is safer than the bond market. Now, our bond market is in shambles, and when Japan gets to selling our bonds, oh, baby. So we have a bunch of indexes that are falling at the same time, and then Intel, which is a middle of the pack type player, because in the last recession before COVID, when Toys R Us started to go out of business, and then like Dollar Tree was having issues, that's when I got concerned. So Intel falling that much, which historically does not fall that much in a day, scared the shit out of me, to be honest.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think you'd be scared by that, but that's interesting because we've been talking about the Intel and how it's fallen off so greatly and it hasn't been able to catch up, and we don't see signs of catching up. The layoffs was 15,000 jobs is a lot.
That's a lot, bro.
That's a lot. But yeah, they were hit. Snap was hit. Like, I mean, we're talking about 20% declines in a day.
And to give context, Intel went back to its 2002 price.
Crazy.
Like I wasn't, maybe a 12% drop. Okay, I can brag. Once I saw it get to 20, I said, okay, so if middle T and Russell 2000 and 3000 isn't doing well, if no mid-sized companies are doing incredibly well, Nvidia has a legal monopoly with cap expenditures amongst Meta and Microsoft, and cool. Where's all the other money coming from? And we're at the tail end of an AI revolution. Things can get pretty scary. I don't think it's a coincidence that she got the lead, and all of a sudden, like imagine if we do InvestFest next year and Hove is there. God willing, please make that happen. Then all of a sudden, there's regulation around who can do financial conferences.
Okay.
I'm like, why the rules change? What happened to Motley Fool and Money Show? They're like, no, y'all got Hove? Got a trick for you.